If you wear any of these summer fragrances, you are guaranteed to stand out. And I think that can be a bit of a challenge when it comes to choosing summertime scents, warm weather scents, when you do want to stand out and make kind of a lasting impression, because oftentimes, depending on where you look and where you're shopping, a lot of them can smell the same, and a lot of them are things that people have smelled time and time again. But not really these. I think all of these kind of bring a unique twist, which I'm going to go over here in this video. Now, I'll drop links to each one of these down below to discounters as well. If you want to check any of these out for yourself, you can get them at prices below retail, which is always a big plus. We'll actually get things kicked off with a brand new release. It is Coach for Men Green. So yeah, this one came out this year, and interesting, it already hit discounters. And that's something that happens from time to time, especially with these, I don't want to say low-level scents, but these designers that generally end up cheaper anyway down the road at discounters. There are times where they'll just come in stock almost immediately on discounters, sometimes even before they're released at retail. And it's a really weird thing. You can tell they're just kind of just giving up on it and dumping it over to discounters right away, it seems like. It even happened with like Mont Blanc Individual Tonic and Starwalker Extreme, a couple of those, and many more times as well. But anyway, Coach Green, I saw it show up at discounters. I really wasn't excited about buying it at retail, so I didn't. But it came up for like $44, I believe is what I ended up paying for it. And I figured I would check it out at that price. And again, going into it, I was not expecting anything all that great, because the Coach for Men line, for the most part, hasn't been all that exciting for me. Platinum is my favorite, and this one might honestly be my second favorite, and that's impressive. So what is this one all about? Well, it's kind of interesting. It has a unique kiwi accord, a little bit of a fruity kick. There's a little bit of rosemary. There's some oak moss in here, some woods, a little bit more of a bergamot kind of citrus kick. So essentially what it works out to smell like is a fruity, bright version of something like Dior Sauvage or Prada Carbon. So it is kind of following that flanker deal, and they're sticking true to this DNA, because Coach Platinum is like a vanilla heavy Sauvage. The original Coach is just kind of going after that Sauvage DNA, but a little bit less metallic. So this one is just kind of a fruity version of all of that. And it really turned out well. I didn't think I was going to like it, but this smells incredible. And so yes, obviously Sauvage Carbon has been smelled many times, and there's a lot out there that kind of does that, but nothing quite like this with that kiwi fruitiness. It is prominent, you do pick up on it, and it does make it stand out. Next up, another one that's on the more affordable side, right around $35, maybe $40, MISSONI Wave. This is kind of bridging the gap between Chanel Allure Homme Sport and Versace Pour Homme. And so again, those are relatively popular scents, maybe they're past their prime now. They're not going to be getting worn as much as they were back in the day, that's for sure. I think now people have drastically shifted their focus onto the newer trends, and so those have kind of been left. But this is, again, kind of offering its own little twist on that DNA at an affordable price. And I would feel confident in saying that you could wear this one out and about, and there's not going to be too many other people wearing it or really smelling like you. And you can't say that about everything, especially now as we're trending towards the more sweet style of men's scent, especially with what Paco Rabanne and a lot of other big designer brands do with all of these sweet overload scents, even for summertime. This is something that's kind of a different twist on that. So there's a little bit of a creaminess, of course, but then you get some bright citrus as well. This DNA is incredible. It is so versatile. I think this is the type of thing that no one will dislike. I love this stuff, especially at this price point. Next up, Terre d'Hermes Eau GIVREE. Now this one does increase the price a little bit here. This is coming in at around, at least for this bottle size, $80, maybe $90. And this is a 100 ml, just standard bottle here. You can see it does have a frosted glass on the back, clear on the front. This is the replacement of Terre d'Hermes Eau Très Fresh. So that one was fantastic, was the summer version of the line. They discontinued it due to reformulations, and then they just released this instead. So this one uses a lot of citron to give it a sour, bright, fresh pop. Of course, you're getting some woods in here, some vetiver, and a little slight bit of a bitter orange accord, even though I don't think they officially list that. but you're getting all of those typical tropes of a Terre d'Hermes, which kind of gives off this masculine, woody, but fresh and citrusy DNA. This one is more classic. It's more masculine, more refined, and more grown up compared to the other two we mentioned. And also, for what it's worth, this bottle is refillable. A lot of these designer brands are going that way, so it's kind of a weird thing, but you can just unscrew the top, and then there you go. I've said it before, but you guys really need to be careful now when you're purchasing secondhand on places like eBay and Facebook groups and forums. With any refillable bottle, that is probably not something you should do anymore. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't buy brand new bottles from places like that are still sealed up. You know, that's a risk that you can still take. Discounters, of course, that's going to be fine because they're sealed bottles. And the refillable thing is great, you know, for sure. With the environment and everything like that, awesome. But on the secondhand side of things, you got to be careful now. But I digress. I think this one's fantastic. Very crisp, very fresh, very bright, and this isn't nearly as mainstream as a lot of other scents out there, obviously, and so you can kind of really stand out with this. Now, this next one is also new, and it also hit discounters. Really, really strange. Again, this is another example that I completely forgot about a minute ago, but now here it is. Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue Summer Vibes. It was a new release this year, done by Alberto Marias, a very good scent. I bought mine at retail because it wasn't at discounters yet, but within the past couple weeks it has showed up. Retail is, I want to say, I don't know, was it 112 or something like that, just up over 100 a little, and this popped up for, I think, I don't know, $66, $67 for a 125 ml bottle like this. And that's a great savings off of retail, especially a couple months after it being released. That is really quick turnaround. So this one is really good. It's kind of using that light blue O Intense DNA that we know and adding in a little bit more of a cypress aromatic touch. You're getting a little bit of lemon off the top, which was absent in light blue O Intense. So it does kind of work that DNA, but just brings it back to life with a little bit of a modern flair. There's like a little update, I guess is how you could look at it. If you are someone who loves or has loved Light Blue O Intense for years, because it has been out for a while now, and maybe it was starting to lose its spark, kind of lose its special thing about it, maybe you just wore it so much that you were sick of it, this is like a reboot. They take that DNA, they work it a little bit, they bring it back to life with a little twist. I think that was actually a really good move on their part. It's, of course, not going to do as well as Light Blue O Intense has done. I don't think they're ever really going to top that. Pretty much since then, they've kind of gone down, and yeah, Light Blue Forever, Italian Love was a little bit of a step in the right direction, but not for the mainstream. This is going to be a more mainstream scent. I just don't think it's going to have what it takes to really shoot to the top. So this is one that, again, you can kind of dive back into. Now that the main hype for O Intense is gone, you can pull this one out, wear it, smell a little bit different with a unique modern twist. And if you want to be notified of when stuff like this happens, this Coach Green brand new releases hitting discounters, if you hit the first link down below and sign up to my mailing list and also send a text to the number down below, you will be opted into those lists. And anytime that happens, one of these new releases coming up at discounters, or anytime something rare, discontinued, hard to find comes into stock, Bleu Electrique, Dior Homme Parfum, The One Luminous Night, things like that, I do send out a notification for those as well. Also, big sales like Parfums de Marly sales, when they come in stock below retail, I send out a notification. And any big 48-hour sale that shows up, I have you guys covered when it comes to everything like that. Send a notification straight to the home screen on your phone. You don't want to miss out, I promise. Okay, we are going to end this video with Hugo Boss Now. So this one has watery notes, mint, ice, and one of my favorite notes in this, lemon zest. Love lemon zest. That's used quite a bit in Bleu de Chanel Parfum, and it smells amazing. It sounds like what it is, a nice zesty, sharp, kind of citric, spicy lemon accord. It really is fantastic. It's a mouth-watering type of smell. It almost has a little bit of like a sugary type of smell also. Really big fan of that note. And maybe they didn't nail it quite as well in this as they did in the much more expensive and much higher budget Bleu de Chanel Parfum, but you do pick up on it in here and it does smell nice. The ice kind of gives off this cooling, crisp smell along with the watery notes. And yes, obviously ice does not have a smell. However, when you look at the bottle and it's frosted glass, you just kind of smell this one. It does give off very much a cooling and kind of refreshing and easygoing type of nature. So I think the ice is fitting more or less as a descriptor of the scent rather than a note, because if you can smell ice, that water is probably not something you should be touching. One of the things I don't like about this, and this is nothing at fault of the scent or anything, but they don't put the name on the bottle anywhere. So you look at the front, Hugo Boss, or it says Hugo Boss, if you can see that in red. You look at the bottom, all it basically tells you is that it's an eau de toilette. It's a 125 ml. The batch code is 9280. It was made in Germany. There's some other letters and numbers, and that's it. Hugo Boss now is nowhere on this. So if you're someone like me who has way too many fragrances and you still have fragrances in boxes from when you moved a little bit over 2 years ago, yes, this is true, and you're kind of looking through them, trying to grab some stuff that you haven't talked about in a while, you find this and then realize that you don't remember the name of it, makes it a bit challenging. And then you're just typing in Hugo Boss cologne and you're looking through pictures and finally you find the one that looks like it. So that's one of my only gripes with this style bottle. But other than that, I really like this one. I'm glad I decided to pick it up, check it out again. Really good stuff all the way around that I forgot about. It's been in a box for a while, but maybe it is a little bit of a forgettable scent, but it does smell great and it is affordable. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. These fragrances are ones that you can wear if you want to stand out this summer. You still got time. We've got all of August and into September as well if you want to check some of these out and smell different. And remember, if you want to be the first to know of any big fragrance sales, any major restocks, any great deals, rare finds, whatever, jump on the mailing list and the texting list. Link down below, send a text to the number down below, and you will be opted in. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.